Good morning, students. Today we will learn about the government. But before studying it, let us recall about how all of our homes function well in spite of various challenges. For this to happen, members of the family have different responsibilities to carry out, isn't it? For instance, a housewife assumes the responsibility of kitchen department. Earning members of the family assumes the responsibilities of finance department. Other members of the family carry out other functions. Students, if we carefully observe, a home is functioning as an institution with its own system to achieve certain desired results. In the same way, every country needs a government to make decisions and get things done. These can be decisions about where to build roads and schools, or how to reduce the price of things when they get too expensive. The government has several programs to help the poor. It does other important things such as running postal and railway services. The government also has the job of protecting the boundaries of the country and maintaining peaceful relationship with other countries. It is responsible of ensuring that all its citizens have enough to eat and have good health facilities. When there are natural disasters like the tsunami or an earthquake, it is the government that mainly organizes aid and assistance for the affected people. Perhaps you are wondering how governments manage to do all this and why it is necessary for them to do. So, dear students, governments are necessary because they maintain law and order. Laws are necessary for society to function. Life in a society without laws would be unsafe and unpredictable. In this way, we can define the word government refers to a governing body that makes decisions and get things done for the welfare of its citizens against any discrimination and injustice. Students, now that you know that the government is responsible for so many different things, then you think of how it manages to do all this. The government works at different levels: at the local level, at the level of the state, at the national level. The local level means in our village, town, or locality. The state level would mean that which covers an entire state. Next, laws and the government. The government makes laws, and everyone who lives in the country has to follow these laws. This is the only way governments can function. The government has the power to make decisions. Similarly, it has the power to enforce its decisions. For example, all persons driving a motorcycle or vehicle should have a license. Next, types of government. Students, who gives the government this power to make decisions and enforce the laws? Let us discuss. The answer to this question depends on the type of government there is in a country. In a democracy, it is the people who give the government this power. They do this through elections in which they vote for particular persons and elect them. Once elected, these persons form the government. In a democracy, the government has to explain its actions and defend its decisions to the people. So you may heard another form of a government is a monarchy. The monarch, king or queen, has the power to make decisions and run the government. The monarch may have a small group of people to discuss matters with, but the final decision making power remains with the monarch. Next, democratic governments. India is a democratic country. This achievement is the result of a long and eventful struggle of the Indian people. There are other places in the world where people have also struggled to have democracies. Here, the main feature of a democracy is that the people have the power to elect their leaders. So, in the sense, a democracy is ruled by the people. So, the basic idea is that people rule themselves by participating in the making of these rules. So, students, remember, democratic governments in our times are usually referred to as representative democracies. In representative democracies, people do not participate directly, but instead choose their representatives through an election process. These representatives meet and make decisions for the entire population. In India, before independence, only a small minority was allowed to vote, and they therefore came together to determine the fate of the majority. Several people, including Gandhiji, were shocked at the unfairness of this practice and demanded that all adults have the right to vote. This is known as universal adult franchise. Writing in the journal Young India in 1931, Gandhiji said, I cannot possibly bear the idea that a man who has got wealth should get the vote, but a man who has got character but no wealth or literacy should have no vote, or that a man who honestly works by the sweat of his brow day in and day out should not have the vote for the crime of being a poor man. So, here in the above quote, Gandhiji is trying to say that democracy is for everyone. In a democracy, all persons are politically equal, and any eligible Indian citizen can stand for an election and can form the government. Clear? Students, in other parts, that is in Europe, and USA, women and the poor have had to fight for participation in a government. Women's struggle to vote got strengthened during the First World War. In 1914, this movement is called the women's suffrage movement. As a term, suffrage usually means right to vote. Next, key elements of a democratic government. Here we can talk about the participation processes involved in a democracy, the roles and responsibilities in conflict resolution, and the key ideas of a democratic government. So the main key ideas are like this. First one is all citizens are equal and they have equal access to all the resources of a country. Second one is all citizens are equal irrespective of their caste, gender, economic status, and religion. Third one is people who have faced discrimination in the past are eligible for government jobs to uplift their social status. These are main key elements of a democratic government. Students, today we learned about the roles of our government, responsibilities and duties of government, types of government and the laws associated with it. Last point, key elements of the government. By this, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you.